Hey folks, let's dive into some hand launch action with low thermal soaring in this video. Julian's taking the Explorer F5J from NAN models for a spin. I'll be providing commentary to give you a closer look at his flying technique.
Just a very quick interruption. You can win these amazing 6 KST servos here. Only thing you need to do is write down a comment and you are in a raffle, so it is worth it.
Here comes the wonderful Explorer, which Julian is catching directly with his hand. No runway is needed to land the model anymore. It's equipped with 6 KST servos and the drivetrain is powered by a 4-cell LiPo battery. Despite its lightweight design, this baby's tough. As you can see, he launched his model to a considerable height right out of his hands. It's truly amazing what modern RC gliders are capable of. This thing is built completely out of carbon fiber combined with sandwich material like Rocell. When we think back to the past with those heavy gliders, what's possible today seems almost unthinkable. The air conditions don't look that bad here, but still, he wasn't able to find any lift to keep the glider airborne longer. And yes, he's coming back in again, and I assume he'll make another attempt right away. Here's the next launch of the glider. Yes, this time the starting height after the hand throw wasn't that high. That's because the headwind wasn't so strong. So Julian was right in the vicinity of the thermal lift, and yes, but even this starting height, as we see here, is enough to make a test circle with the glider. The air looks still quite weak, so no big climbing yet. However, even a 0 is sufficient, of course, to gain a bit of time to keep the glider up. And we see he's now aligning well with the thermal lift. It's always important to stay in the center because otherwise you're quickly out. And then from this height, flying is over immediately. Now we see he's making the circle a bit to the right. It looks quite good, very aggressive and controlling, as we can see here, really flying on the limit. It's a very tight thermal, so low, always firmly in control. His circle is actually still looking quite good. He's gaining altitude, still challenging, really circling in a very tight space. A little wobble. Yes, now he opens up a bit to the right. Oh, that doesn't look so good. Another circle, back into the air. And yes, now you see he briefly opened the circle, became a bit impatient while climbing, thinking he would improve his situation, but actually made it worse. We often see this in competitions, too much correction leading to worsening one's situation, but that was indeed flying at the absolute limit. It can happen that a thermal ends at a certain height. And yes, now he briefly activated the motor to get some thrust and safely returns the model. All right, here we go with the next launch. Once again, we're seeing a pretty cool altitude, not excessively high, so there's also a little headwind again. We see Julian immediately taking aggressive control with a direct circle. This likely suggests that he felt something on the stick. Well, not directly on the stick since there was no feedback, but if the model doesn't respond to steering commands as expected, it indicates that there might be some air movement, likely thermal lift. That's why he aggressively entered the circle, and as we can see, he has quickly gained a considerable amount of altitude. It's also evident how he keeps adjusting, even though there was little wind that day. Yes, he's effectively riding the thermal lift and gaining significant altitude, constantly recentering, which is of course crucial. And yes, at a certain altitude, with such a high performance glider under these conditions, it becomes less thrilling. That's why we're now seeing this loss of altitude naturally in inverted flight. But it just shows what performance such a model is capable of. It's truly unbelievable. hope you found this video interesting. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about the duration of your longest thermal flight. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.